Welcome back to Process Cast with Mark Anderson and Samantha Blake, your go-to podcast for insights into business process management and the technologies transforming the way we work. In this episode, Samantha and Mark dive into a business process you can import into your HEFLO account for free. Click the link in the description to get it.
Ever wonder about all the cogs turning behind the scenes when someone new joins a company? It can feel like magic when you show up on day one and have a computer, a desk, and know who to talk to. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on how organizations actually make that happen.
Yeah, we have a really detailed look at the process, almost a step-by-step guide that a company uses to bring a new hire on board, right from the moment they accept the job offer until they're really, up and running. Think of it as the secret recipe for making a new employee feel welcome and productive from the get-go.
Exactly. Our aim today is to explore this structured approach together. We'll uncover the key stages, the different teams involved, and hopefully give you some insight into the often invisible work that goes into creating a smooth transition. You might even see echoes of this in your own experiences. So, to start, where does this whole intricate dance even begin?
Well, it's fascinating. According to this document, the initial groundwork needs to be laid before the main process even kicks off. We see these preliminary signals in three crucial areas: facilities, IT, and telecom. And importantly, these aren't just happening randomly, they're triggered by a request from the onboarding coordinator. It highlights the importance of having someone at the center orchestrating these early moves.
That makes perfect sense. You need someone to hit the go button. So what officially marks the start of bringing the new employee into the fold?
The core integration flow begins with what's called a Start Employee Integration event. And the team that initiates this, the recruitment team. So after those initial readiness checks are complete, it's recruitment that officially signals the start of the welcoming and orientation process.
Okay, recruitment gets the ball rolling with that initial welcome. But I'd imagine human resources plays a pretty foundational role early on, right?
Absolutely. Human resources triggers a broader event. Employee onboarding starts. And this happens as soon as the hiring is approved. So while recruitment might handle that initial personal touch, HR is laying the administrative groundwork that everything else builds upon. And digging into those initial signals, we also see that specific needs, like getting furniture, a computer, or a phone, each have their own dedicated requests that acts as a trigger for those specific departments. It's a very responsive system.
So HR is like the central nervous system for a lot of this initial activity.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the very first things they take care of?
Well, HR immediately confirms the hire and then, crucially, requests essential documents from the new employee, your ID, tax information, maybe even proof of your qualifications. This initial document collection is critical not just for compliance, but it also helps make the new employee feel like they're officially part of the team and enables timely access to things like payroll and benefits. HR sets clear deadlines for these, and there's even a phase here called wait for admission documents, emphasizing that the process can't really progress until these key pieces of information are in place.
Right, gotta get that paperwork sorted. What happens once HR receives all those important documents?
Once those documents are in HR's hands, the formal registration kicks off. They file all the paperwork, officially add the employee to the company's payroll system, and what's called the Human Resources Information System, they register new employee. This step is where they become officially recognized for payroll, benefits, and other internal processes. HR also takes on the vital task of enrolling the new hire in any company benefits programs.
Okay, benefits are definitely a big piece.
Oh, absolutely. A huge piece of feeling supported in a new role.
So HR handles all that initial administrative stuff. What about getting the actual physical workspace and the necessary tools ready?
That's where HR also plays a key initiating role. This document shows they're the ones who send out the requests for both furniture and IT equipment. So while they don't physically build the desk or set up the computer, they're the department that flags those needs to the teams who actually, do the work.
So HR essentially pushes the first dominoes for other departments. And what's the sign that HR has done their initial part?
Eventually, after all the documentation is processed and those initial requests are sent out, HR finalizes the employee's records. The key signals from their end seem to be complete employee records and then a final notification, notify integration complete. That last one sounds like a really important handover point, signaling that HR has laid the essential groundwork and other teams can now take the lead on their specific areas of responsibility.
Okay, that paints a clear picture of HR's vital role. Now let's dive into the tech side. What does IT support have to manage in this whole process?
The IT support team has a pretty involved multi-stage process, which makes sense given how much we rely on technology at work. It all starts when they receive that IT setup request, likely triggered by HR, as we just discussed. Interestingly, one of the very first steps is to notify facilities about potential desktop delivery. This early coordination shows they're thinking ahead about the physical setup as well.
They need to know if a computer's coming so they can make sure there's space that's smart. What happens with setting up the actual technology?
Well, the next crucial steps involve configuring the physical computer, installing the necessary software, testing to make sure everything is working correctly. At the same time, they're creating the network account in what's called Active Directory. Think of Active Directory as the central control panel for managing everyone's digital access within the company. It ensures that each employee gets the right permissions to the tools they need while keeping sensitive information secure. And there's a specific step to notify the manager once that account has created good communication there, so the manager knows the employee will be able to log in on day one.
Definitely crucial for a smooth start.
Yeah.
What about access to specific programs and, of course, email?
Right. Following the network account setup, IT configures system access. This likely involves granting default access to the programs and systems the new employee will need based on their specific role within the organization. And then, naturally, they set up the email account, configuring things like storage capacity and the size of attachments allowed, potentially adjusting these based on whether the employee is in, say, a more senior role or has different communication needs. It really looks like a comprehensive setup process aimed at getting the new person ready to be productive.
So IT takes care of the computers and the digital keys. What about the phones? That's where the telecom team steps in, right?
Exactly. The telecom team's contribution begins when they receive that telephone setup request, again, likely initiated by HR. Their main tasks involve configuring either an extension line for a desk phone or setting up a mobile device for the new employee, depending on what their role requires. And just like IT, they also have a step to notify the manager once the configuration is complete and presumably the phone is ready to use. Keeping the manager informed seems to be a key theme throughout this whole process.
Absolutely. It keeps everyone in the loop. Now let's shift our focus to the physical workspace. What's involved for the facilities team?
For facilities, the initial trigger is receiving that furniture setup request from HR. Their process kicks off with planning the layout of the workstation. They need to define and validate how the desk, chair, and other elements will be arranged. Interestingly, HR is involved in this validation, and there's even a 2-day auto approval mentioned. So if HR doesn't provide feedback within 2 days, the proposed layout is considered approved, which seems like a good way to keep things moving efficiently.
That's an interesting way to prevent bottlenecks. So once the layout gets the green light, what's the next step for facilities?
The next hands-on step is the actual physical assembly of the furniture at the assigned workstation. Once that's all put together, there's another important communication step: notifying the manager that the workstation is ready and waiting for the new employee. They also send a confirmation that the furniture is available, which likely goes to another key stakeholder, perhaps someone in HR or the onboarding coordinator, to ensure everyone is aware that the physical space is prepared.
So we've seen how HR handles the initial paperwork and kicks off requests, IT and telecom set up the digital and communication tools, and facilities creates the physical workspace. How does the recruitment team factor back into this after that initial trigger to start the integration?
The recruitment team plays a really crucial role in those very first interactions the new employee has. They're involved in scheduling the actual start date, working in coordination with HR administration to find a date that works for everyone. And then, importantly, they conduct the initial introduction and induction. This includes welcoming the new hire, introducing them to their team, giving an overview of company values and culture, and providing guidance on how to use essential internal tools, all those things that help a new employee feel welcomed, oriented, and part of the team from the outset. That personal touch from recruitment can be so valuable in making a new starter feel comfortable.
That personal touch from recruitment definitely sounds like it could make a big difference in those early days. Now, this document also mentions an IT coordinator following up. What exactly do they do?
The IT coordinator acts as a vital point person in ensuring a smooth technical start, especially in the lead up to the new employee's first day. They're responsible for a pre-arrival check, proactively following up on the progress of all the IT-related tasks, like have the accounts been created, Is the computer configured? And prioritizing anything that might be critical for day one. This proactive role is really about preventing potential tech roadblocks before the new employee even walks in the door, which can save so much frustration and boost their initial productivity and morale.
It sounds like there are a lot of moving parts and different pieces of information being generated throughout this whole process. The document mentions specific data objects like network access credentials, email account information, and furniture-ready notification. Why are these tangible outcomes so important?
These data objects, as they're referred to here, are the tangible results of various tasks being completed. They represent key pieces of information or physical readiness that are absolutely essential for the onboarding process to move forward smoothly and successfully. For example, the network access credentials are the actual username and password that allow the employee to log into their computer and access company systems. Without those, they can't really start working.
Right. Kind of useless without those.
Exactly. The furniture-ready notification is confirmation that their physical workspace is prepared. These outputs act as crucial checkpoints, ensuring that everything is in place when it needs to be. The document also mentions gateways in the process, which are essentially decision points, for example, is specific IT equipment even required for this particular role. It highlights that this isn't just a straight line. There are considerations and decisions made along the way.
So it's not just a linear checklist. There are actual decision points that can influence the path. One thing that really strikes me is just how many different teams have a hand in this whole process.
Absolutely. It's a really clear example of how different parts of an organization need to work together effectively. This isn't a solo effort by any means. It's a clear collaboration between human resources, IT support, the telecom team, facilities, the recruitment team, and even HR administration. Each team has clearly defined responsibilities and specific tasks they need to complete, really highlighting the interconnected nature of successful employee onboarding. If one of these teams drops the ball, it can potentially create delays or, a negative experience for the new hire.
This has been a truly insightful look into all the intricate steps involved in bringing someone new on board. It's definitely a much more complex and coordinated effort than it might seem from the outside.
Yeah, the core message here is exactly that. This detailed framework really underscores the intentionality and careful coordination required to successfully integrate a new person into an organization. It's a multifaceted process involving numerous distinct steps and various teams all working in concert to ensure a smooth, efficient, and welcoming experience for the new employee.
Thinking about this whole structured approach, what particular aspects do you believe are most crucial for making a new employee not just feel set up, but truly integrated and ready to thrive? Perhaps something we've touched on, or maybe something from your own experience comes to mind.
That's a really important question. When we consider all the different stages we've explored, from the initial administrative tasks handled by HR to the physical workspace being prepared by facilities, the technical access provided by IT and telecom, and then that crucial human element brought in by recruitment, it really emphasizes that each of these plays a vital role in the overall experience. Understanding this behind-the-scenes effort can give you a whole new appreciation for the onboarding process, whether you're a new employee or part of the team welcoming them. It really makes you think about all the often unseen work that goes into making those first days and the subsequent weeks as seamless and supportive as possible, and how that can ultimately impact a new hire's long-term success and engagement with the company.
Thank you for listening to ProcessCast. This episode was brought to you by HEFLO, the BPM platform that empowers businesses to document, automate, and optimize their processes with AI. Experience the intelligence to simplify complex business processes and accelerate your growth with our complete management solution. Visit heflo.com to learn more. Be sure to follow ProcessCast for more insights on business process management, and don't forget to share this episode with your network. Until next time.